Wow, it's great to see everybody. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it. I'm Peter Lurie. I'm the President and Executive Director of the Center for Science in the Public Interest, CSPI. This is a great opportunity for us all to get together and dig in on a shared interest, which is some of the key challenges that are facing our food system. People love to say that America's food system is the safest in the world. But unfortunately, as this film will, I'm afraid, demonstrate, it sometimes fails to live up to that title. The work that we're going to see tonight is in large part inspired by Bill Marler, the world's leading food safety litigator, I think it's fair to say. He unfortunately isn't with us, and I think his family may join us a little bit later on, but they haven't been able to come. But Bill sends his regrets, and the family is supporting this event. He's dedicated his entire career to changing the food system. And he's a believer, and this is unusual, I think, among litigators, that he'd like to put himself out of business. The best circumstance of all would be if there were no more cases left to bring. And in the service of that, he's one of those rare litigators who have engaged with the policy world as well, trying to find those preventive solutions that, would make his job defunct. In fact, in many ways, that's a theme of the evening. And it's a theme of so many of the people who are here with us today, including the families of 3 victims of foodborne illness who are with us. Do you want to maybe raise your hands? We are. And this is Scott and Rochelle Shields, as well as Susie Bayman. And these are folks as well who, after suffering a personal tragedy, have managed to find something worthwhile to combat their own experience and to take the importance of making sure that nobody else goes through what they went to heart and to actually take action to that end. So we thank Scott, Rochelle, and Susie for their advocacy and for being with us tonight. We're also grateful to our friends at Consumer Reports. I see there's Brian, and Food Fix, they're in the back. I see Elena, as well as many of CSPI supporting members who have also joined us tonight. And we're especially grateful that with us tonight is Congressman Rosa DeLauro. I was thinking to myself, you always look forward to seeing Representative DeLauro because there's always an excitement. You never know what color she'll be in, right? You just never know. You know it will be coordinated, but you don't know what color it'll be. And this appears to be purple, and it looks great. Representative DeLauro is the ranking member of the House Appropriations Committee, and she's been able to join us despite some of the mishegas that's going on up on Capitol Hill as we speak. For more than 30 years, she's represented the 3rd District from Connecticut, serving as a champion for working families and consumers. And she's a longtime friend of CSPI's, fighting for a safer and healthier food system. As you will see in the film this evening, she too is in the category of people who have turned an adverse personal experience into policy action, having herself experienced salmonella poisoning as a child, and then using that passion to push forward to make meaningful changes in the food system. Among those changes, most recently, is the Expanded Food Safety Investigation Act, which would close critical gaps in the food safety net by giving federal investigators more power to identify the causes of foodborne outbreaks that emerge from large animal farms. And I also want to thank Representative DeLauro's lead staffer, Maria Gualtieri, who has helped us to work with us with so many issues recently and has helped us to put on this event. So I don't want to stand between Representative DeLauro and anybody because it's always a treat to hear her. And so here she is.
Thank you all so much. It's really such an honor for me to be here this evening. And I have to just say that Peter referenced Bill Marler, and who is my hero, someone who I met, back in the Jack in the Box case all those years ago. And it's just he is you know, the foremost food safety litigator in the world. And and you'll just see him writ large in this film tonight. And to the families, to the Shields, to Scott and Rochelle, and to Susie, I can never heal the holes in your heart. But we can tell you that we will do everything and anything that we can to address these issues. And I thank you for your courage, and I thank you for taking personal tragedy and turning it into such a march to create a different and a food system that doesn't put people at risk and will help to save their lives. To you, Peter, I just want to say thank you. I have worked over the years with CSPI. It's a great, wonderful relationship that I've had with all of you, and your fierce advocacy on behalf of the health and the well-being of the American people really is legend, and thank you to CSPI for all that you have done and to educating me over the years as to what direction that the Congress should go in. Tonight's discussion and film will unveil a horrific truth about the American food system. Overall, regulators and the food industry have not done enough to protect us from deadly pathogens, and consumers remain ill-prepared to manage food poisoning risks in our kitchens and in our homes. I'm so pleased that the food experts are here tonight for this discussion. Stephen Ostroff, a former acting FDA commissioner. Sarah Sorcher, Director of Regulatory Affairs at the Center of Science in the Public Interest. Brian Ronholm, we worked together for many, many years, now Director of Food Policy at Consumer Reports. And Helena Bottmiller-Evuk, founder and editor-in-chief of Food Fix. Unfortunately, food in the United States is frequently unsafe. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, each year roughly 1 in 6 Americans get sick. 128,000 are hospitalized, and 3,000 die from foodborne illnesses. The U.S. Department of Agriculture estimates that foodborne illnesses cost the United States more than $15.6 billion each year. Think about it, because this is mostly preventable. Mostly preventable. And whether it is buying products from the grocery store or eating at a restaurant, families should not have to question if the food they or their family is consuming is safe. Unfortunately, the frequency of foodborne illness outbreaks has remained relatively unchanged for decades. Over time, we have seen several examples of these outbreaks. 1993, E. coli outbreak from Jack in the Box burgers killed 4 children, infected 732 people across 4 states. 2009, Salmonella outbreak from the Peanut Corporation of America, that plant in Blakely, Georgia, killed 9 people and infected at least 714 people in 47 states. 2013, Salmonella outbreak from Foster Farm chicken infected 634 people across 29 states. Oftentimes, bacteria and other microbes that cause foodborne illnesses originate in animal agriculture, and we know the following to be true. Bacteria from animal production facilities can contaminate fields of produce, which we saw during the 2018 romaine lettuce E. coli outbreak. FDA has also determined that nearby cattle were the likely source of E. coli romaine lettuce outbreaks in 2019. Antibiotic usage in animal agriculture could contribute to these bacteria being resistant to antibiotic treatments for sick humans. And despite our knowledge of the dangers posed to the public health by animals in our food system, our public health agencies, the FDA and the CDC, are limited in their ability to fully understand the problem, since they do not have authority to enter farms and conduct microbial sampling. That has to be changed, which is why I introduced the Expanded Food Safety Investigation Act with my colleague and my friend, Senator Cory Booker. This bill would allow federal investigators to invest. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The bill will allow federal investigators to investigate foodborne outbreaks that emerge from large animal farms. Such authority would enable the agency to better protect consumers. This legislation is vitally needed because the animal industry can and has thwarted investigators from sampling on farms during outbreaks, which hinders the process for both finding the source of the outbreak and determining the ways to mitigate risks and prevent future outbreaks. I am pleased by the steps that the USDA is taking to reduce outbreaks of salmonella from raw poultry. October 2021, by announcing an initiative to reduce salmonella linked to poultry. October 2022, by releasing a proposed regulatory framework to reduce salmonella illnesses attributable to poultry. And April of 2023, by releasing a proposed determination that salmonella at high levels is an adulterant in raw breaded stuffed chicken products. Salmonella should be considered as an adulterant for all poultry. This decision, for the first time, creates a risk-based enforceable standard for poultry products, similar to the standard created for the pathogen E. coli in ground beef, which successfully reduced illnesses from E. coli in the 1990s. Final product standards push the industry to better target dangerous salmonella contamination, and I look forward to working with the USDA to continue this work. But I am concerned by, and excuse me if it sounds political, it may be, and that's what I'm going to rush back tonight for votes. House Republicans that are seeking to shut the government down and the impact that it will have on the safety of our food system. Essential government services only allowed the FDA to respond to foodborne outbreaks during the 2018-2019 shutdown, but prevented the agency from conducting proactive inspections. Less inspections means less opportunity to spot unsafe practices or conditions that makes it more likely that unsafe food makes it to the food supply. I will just tell you, if the food inspectors in our meat plants, in our poultry plants are furloughed and are not in those plants every day, we run a risk of contamination. This is dangerous. It is a game, but it is not a game and should not be a game because it plays fast and loose with people's lives. And ultimately, the American people pay the price. I can't thank you enough for joining us tonight. And with that, I'm humbled and I'm honored to be able to present the film portion of our evening, Poisoned, the Dirty Truth About Your Food. Thank you.